Every day, you have a chance to reevaluate your life and your business and then make meaningful changes. But too often, routine, what gets in the way is the routine of the same old, or distractions, things we didn't plan or prepare for. We forget to pause, reflect, and then make adjustments that allow for real progress. So if you're a solopreneur, you're a real estate pro, um, small business owner, coach, or advisor, there's going to be 5 adjustments that you're going to get in this video that can help you start to live a different life, that will help you have a different business, that will get you going from surviving to thriving to impact so that you can get ahead of your competition. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to have 3 actions for each of the 5 adjustments that you can make. So there's going to be 15 different things I have listed out here on this piece of paper, 15 different things that you can take action on so that you can get ahead of your competition. Let's make sure you stick around for that. Up first, thoughts and beliefs have a huge impact on the actions that we take. When it comes to thoughts and beliefs, there's this term of growth mindset. And along with that is this term of fixed mindset. I'm not a huge fan of that terminology, but if you understand that growth is what helps you get better, fixed is what keeps you stuck. The problem that I have with that terminology is I always think of fixed as corrected. Like my glasses they corrected my eyesight, or I wear corrective contact lenses. So I get a little confused, and I know it's semantics, but I get a little confused with that terminology. So I like to use the terms continuum and cul-de-sac. So continuum is ongoing, you continue to grow, and cul-de-sac, of course, being a dead end. So if you're stuck with that, if you feel like you have a cul-de-sac mindset, here's something you can do with that. You can challenge yourself that when you have negative thoughts, the kind of phrases that start with I can't or I don't. For example, I can't do video marketing. I can't get on camera. You switch that language to I want to know how to do video marketing. I want to know how to get better on camera. Anytime you have a can't or don't, switch it to I want to know, or how can I know? So I want to generate more leads with I don't know how to generate leads with Facebook ads. I don't know how to generate leads online. How can I know? How can I learn how to generate leads online? So do you hear about this a lot, this idea of mindset? Do you hear about that? At certain points in times, it's more important than the other. If you have a fixed or stuck or broke or cul-de-sac mindset, it really will limit you. So look to first adjust your mindset. Next up, we can look at when things aren't aligned. If there's too much, too many ideas, too many commitments, what does that lead to? Do you feel busy? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel in a rush? Do you feel hurried? Do you feel scattered? Do you feel unfocused? So, how do you decide what's important? How do you decide what matters in the life, in your business? What gets your time? What gets your energy? What gets your focused? What gets your priority? And that's number 2. Look to adjust your priorities. Then 3, small changes can have significant impact. I always remember the phrase, small hinges swing big doors, but I heard one recently, small tweaks create giant peaks. And so if you can take a look at making small changes that have a big impact overall into your life, into your business, into health, into outcomes. Have you ever had a habit that brings significant changes like that, good or bad? Can you think of a bad habit that always brings bad results, or you know that doing this always brings this type of outcome? So the third thing that you want to adjust are habits, because habits can have um, ongoing impact. You might not see it right away, but the longer you do that habit, the bigger that outcome, the better that outcome. As long as it's a good habit, the better that outcome is in the end. I, for example, a, a tweak for me has to be sleep. If I don't have the right habit for sleep, if I don't get enough sleep, then I'm low energy. If I'm low energy the next day, then I tend to eat too much and I eat bad. And if I eat bad and I'm eating the wrong stuff, then so if my diet's off, my focus is off, my energy is off. And if that's off, then I get impatient. And so all these things become a domino effect if I don't get the right amount of sleep. So starting with the right habit there, take a look at your habits and adjust your habits. Next up is then, this is connected to number one on adjusting your mindset. Have you noticed how big people and environment is, and how people and environment can influence the way that you think and the beliefs that you have? And it's not, don't just think about your physical environment, think about your digital environment, where you're reading, what you're watching, what are you listening to, things like this. So the people in your environment can influence your thoughts, your actions, and beliefs. And that can then impact your mindset. So that goes back to one. So you want to make sure that you're adjusting your relationships, that you have relationships that inspire you, that empower you, that help you stay focused on the things that you actually want to achieve, not just, hey, we're hanging out because we've always hung out. So you can easily assess that, but how do you feel after that relationship, after the hang time? Do they drain energy for you, or they give energy to you? But relationships are connected to your mindset. It's hard to separate those two. So make sure you're adjusting your relationships. And then the fifth one, I think about this story about a farmer and his son. He lives in this village, and the farmer has one horse on his farm. Horse runs away. All the people in the village go, "Oh, that's awful." And the farmer goes, "Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I'm not going to get too worried about it." Villagers are all like, "Oh, this is horrible." But the next day, the horse comes back with 7 more wild horses. And his neighbors are all shocked and like, "Wow, you're rich now. You're so lucky. This is amazing." And the farmer goes, "Maybe." The next day, the farmer's son goes out to start to try to break the horses to make them usable around the farm. And he climbs up on one of the horses, and it starts bucking, acting wild, which it is. And the farmer's son gets thrown from the horse, falls on the ground, breaks his leg. All the neighbors, all the villagers hear about this. They're like, "Oh, this is horrible. That's sad. That's a tough break." Farmer doesn't get too upset about it, just stays calm. "Well, maybe." But the next day, the army of the country comes through the village, and they're collecting all the young men to go to war. The king of the country is ready to start a war, and they come to this farmer and his farm and the farmer's son, and they see that he has a broken leg, and so they're like, "Well, we can't take you to war. You don't have to come with us." Point of the story being perspective. The villagers, the neighbors, they get so worked up. Their perspective is very short-sighted, very immediate. The farmer's perspective, much bigger, much, I don't know. I don't know if this is a big deal yet. I don't know if I got lucky yet. I don't know if I had bad luck or good luck yet. I'm going to wait and see how it sorts out. Not going to make that decision. So perspective is huge. So the fifth thing being, can you adjust your perspective so that you know when to zoom out, look at the bigger picture, and then be able to zoom in and see good things and bad things and then make adjustments overall. But the biggest thing being, make that adjustment to your perspective. So now I have 3 action items for each of those 5 adjustments that you can make to go through. Number 1, to adjust your priorities, consider this. Number 1, challenging the negative thoughts and replacing them with curiosity. Talked about this a little bit already. Can you go from I can't to I want to know how? I can't start up a podcast because I don't have the money, to I want to know how to start up a podcast without any money. Or B, I don't want to follow up with those leads and get rejected, to how can I follow up with leads without fearing rejection? Just be curious about the question instead of putting an immediate roadblock or obstacle in front of yourself. Number 2, recognizing that setbacks are opportunities for learning and for growth. Don't just take the setback as that's it, I'm done. What can you learn from the setback? Myron Golden talks about business. It's 2 sides of the coin. It's always working. It always works. It either works for you on one side of the coin, so you made money, or it works on you. You learn something from it. So recognizing that setbacks are opportunities. Number 3, embracing feedback and criticism as tools for improvement. Whether that is direct, someone letting you know that you're open to a coach advisor, or data. If I put this video out and there's no views, that's feedback. There's always some sort of feedback, and you don't have to necessarily hear criticism. The result itself is feedback. If I slice a golf ball into the woods, I don't need someone to tell me that was a bad shot. The slice itself tells me I'm doing something wrong, so that's feedback. Next up, adjust your priorities. So the first one is identify your core values and what truly matters to you. Do you know what is important? If not, that's probably why you feel overwhelmed, you feel busy. You haven't clearly identified that. Number 2, ranking your priorities and then eliminating unnecessary distractions. If I looked at your schedule, I bet I could tell what is a priority and what isn't based upon what's in the calendar. How are you investing your time? Where is that going? If you say, well, I wish I had time to work out, I wish I had time to go to the gym, but it's not in the calendar, how important is it really? And number 3, then creating that plan to allocate time and resources towards those most important goals. Once you identify it, eliminate all the other distractions, put the things that are important into the calendar and into the schedule. To adjust habits. Number 1, identify habits that do not serve you and replace them with healthier alternatives. The second thing you could do is establish routines that promote self-care and personal growth. Number 3, employ strategies to make habit formation easier, such as setting reminders, breaking goals into smaller, manageable steps. We have so many amazing tools and technology at our fingertips. Are you utilizing those? Like, you should never have to forget something, because you can just pull out your phone and set a reminder to do that in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever it is. To adjust relationships, try this. First, evaluate quality of your relationships and identify any that are holding you back. Number 2, seek out connections with like-minded individuals who share your same values and goals. And number 3, invest time and energy into deepening existing connections that uplift and inspire you. And then to adjust your perspectives, practice this. One, embracing gratitude and focusing on positive aspects of your life. It's easy to get caught up in the negative stuff, but make sure that you're practicing gratitude anytime you catch yourself with, oh, why is this happening to me? Or why can't this happen instead? Correct that with, I'm going to be grateful for 3 things. So try to reprogram, reset things. Every time there's a negative thought, try to find 3 positives, 3 things that you're grateful for. Number 2, seek out new experiences and challenging yourself to step outside of your comfort zone. Whether that's something as small as I'm going to go to a new restaurant, I'm going to go to, people just, we're creatures of habit. We vacation at the same places. We stay at the same hotel when we vacation in the same town. We go to eat at the same restaurant. Try to just change up something. Go to eat at a different place. That can change your perspective. You get a new view of the world. Even if you can't, even if you struggle with changing something as small as that, order something different on the menu. Too many people they go to the same restaurant, they get the same thing. Just change something. And then finally, surround yourself with diverse perspective and ideas, and look to relate and assimilate those ideas. One of the best things that you can do is, instead of being focused on information from one source, and it's always the same type of information, look to get a bunch of different ideas, and then look to see how you can start to connect those dots or overlap those things. This is another video that I have on goal setting that's connected to this, because we want to make adjustments that allow for us to make meaningful changes. And that also starts with having the meaningful goals.